What we're going to talk about today is just something that's a little bit of fun. So I've been doing it and I'm currently level 51 on my warrior, nearly 52, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. I was going to wait till I was level 80 to post a full-length video, but I'm still going to do that, but I'm going to break it down probably into two parts, sort of maybe 1 to 60 and then 60 to 80. I just want to let you know how much fun I'm having doing this because it might give you something to do. You might be like, oh, actually, yeah, that does look like fun or that does sound like fun. So what am I talking about? Now, leveling is ordinarily extremely boring. You just run around doing quests, or you get in a group and you just spam dungeons. I've been leveling my warrior purely solo in dungeons, just on my own. Now, I appreciate not every class can do this, but I reckon with a little bit of tailoring of talents and of gear choices, keeping your character up to date on gear is probably the most important thing, and having heirlooms, most classes should be able to do at least some of this. So I've been leveling a protection warrior, which we all know, soloing wise, protection warriors, protection paladins, DKs, feral druids, all of these classes have an easy time because they're technically tanks, so they take a lot of damage, but because of the changes to Wrath of the Lich King, they also deal a lot of damage as well. So what I done basically was created my warrior, I more or less just quested to 10, and the rest of the way has been spent solely in dungeons. Now, it's not only incredibly fast, because it's efficient, but don't get me wrong, it can be a bit boring. You just sat doing the same dungeon over and over again. So I like to sort of spice it up and make sure that I was moving to the next dungeon as soon as physically possible. But to give you an idea on how quick it is, at the lower levels, between sort of 20 and let's say 40, I was getting 2 to 3 levels an hour. Most of the time, between sort of 20 and 35, I was getting 3 levels an hour. Then it slows down to 2. And currently at 51, I'm getting just under 2 levels an hour. So it's normally, in a full 60 minutes, I'll normally get like 1.5 to 1 3/4 of a level in an hour, which is still incredibly quick, and you make good gold. Because when you're running through these dungeons, it's meant to be split between 5 people, obviously. The raw gold, the drops, the amount of cloth you get, which is absolutely insane. But if you're like me and you're a warrior, you're basically turning all that cloth into bandages. You will sell some of it, don't get me wrong, but normally when you move to the next dungeon, the first level or 2 levels there is a little bit rough. You have to take it a little bit slower, but then once you ding a couple of times, so you're now either equal level of the mobs or higher level preferably, then obviously things start to melt. You don't really need to worry too much about bandaging after every pull. So then the cloth you can actually start selling. So I was making good gold just in Zul'Farrak, selling all of the Mage Weave cloth, for example. Now, I intend on doing a more in-depth guide on the exact route and consumables and all those sort of things that I get along the way, but just for now, I'll give you a brief rundown. So being a Tauren warrior, obviously I started in Ragefire, and I stayed there probably till around level 20, which you could have probably moved a little bit earlier than that, and obviously the next place I went to is Wailing Caverns. Now, Wailing Caverns, because of just how big it is and how much trash there is, you've never got to worry about hitting the reset timer or getting instance locked out, I should say. So it's just a great place to go, and you'll just master your own route. You basically want to be just going around in a circle, so you start at the entrance, you end at the entrance, and you're always killing mobs. Now, you absolutely could go to Shadowfang Keep, and a lot of people said to me, oh, you should go Shadowfang Keep. But most of the time, I don't like wasting time killing bosses. You absolutely can, and even when I was doing Cathedral runs, when I got to that level, I was actually soloing all the bosses as well. But if you're going for raw XP, most of the time killing bosses actually slows it down. And Shadowfang Keep, obviously you can't get through the door until you've gone down and killed the boss. So I opted against Shadowfang Keep, but you absolutely could do it. Now, some important things really is to make sure that when you do move, you're moving as late as possible. So I was in Wailing Caverns until the mobs were green, and probably green for a couple of levels before I then moved anywhere else. And this is because you just want to be able to kill lots of them as quickly as possible, but also once the XP drops to a point where you can be getting twice the amount of XP from a mob that's actually your level in a different dungeon, of course you want to move on. Check in the auction house for potions, especially when you hit that threshold where you can use the next highest level potions. You should be running around stacked out with consumables. I would normally have 60 to 80 potions in my bag at all times, as well as using like Elixir of Accuracy to get some hit rate in. I would be using the best level food that I could get as well, just to get some more stamina. But health potions are definitely the most important thing, and the fact that you can just go to the auction house and buy the highest level health potions that you'll be able to use. When you ding level 45, for example, and you can use major healing potions, they're actually healing for sort of 50 to 60% of your health. So it's like having a really, really strong personal cooldown. And you've got to remember, you can start using decent healing potions as low as level 12. So when you go into Rage Fire straight away, make sure you've got stacks and stacks of healing potions, which restore 280 to 360 health. At level 21, you want to get rid of all of those and be using greater healing. Obviously, superior healing you can use at 35. And then at 45, major healing potions are basically going to carry you into Outland. On this warrior, for example, you can see the talents that I've actually used, where I've primarily gone for damage. Of course, I've took survivability talents as well, but really, most of your damage comes from revenge. And I do use Thunderclap a lot as well, so that's improved, because basically I'm using Thunderclap on cooldown because I've normally got 3, 4, maybe even 5 mobs on me at a time. A popular spec for Warrior, of course, is going down to Unrelenting Assault, but at lower levels, you're absolutely better off just going all the way down in the prot tree. All the way to Shockwave is what I'm going to be planning on doing, just because of the sheer amount of points it takes to get to Unrelenting Assault and all the survivability that we would lose from Protection. So basically, you want a deep prot build. But this is just the Warrior. This is not meant to be Warrior specific. Obviously, I'd like to see you guys trying it on a Feral Druid, trying it on a Protection Paladin, trying it on a, I don't know, even a Frost Mage. You know, there's lots of classes that have got good capabilities of soloing, and trust me, if you can pull the sort of XP an hour that I pull on the Warrior, you're going to level so fast. In fact, a guy in the guild was sending me his sort of Nova Instance Tracker reports showing him as a Discipline Priest using like a Holy Nova spec, soloing Armory and getting more XP an hour than me on a Warrior. So it's not just Warriors that can do it. If a Priest can do it with the Holy Nova build, most people are going to be able to do it. It's just going to be when you get to the higher levels like BRD, where I'm currently at, they do hit quite hard, and you want to be able to kill them pretty quick. So, you know, you're looking probably at the higher levels where soloing them might not be that great. But I challenge you, do it and let me know how it goes. You know, do it as a shaman, do it as a hunter. Because just being able to go to one place, you go there and you're staying there for 5, 6, maybe 7 levels, it's so efficient. And as I say, you get a lot of loot and you level really, really quick. So to take you on the journey all the way to where I am at the moment, which is BRD, and I will update you in another video, I went Ragefire, from Ragefire to Wailing Caverns, from Wailing Caverns to Razorfen Crawl, which, by the way, Razorfen Crawl is a fantastic one that you absolutely shouldn't write off. Because if you just run in, turn right, and then drop down the vine, it's all like packs of boars, and they're very easy to kill. They do very little damage, and you've basically got probably 13, 14 minutes worth of grinding in that little sort of valley at the bottom full of boars, and then you just run out and reset. You'll never hit the lockout, and it's just all melee mobs, easy to kill. As I say, even for like a mage, kiting these, just pulling 3, 4 packs and using Blizzard, I could see it working really, really well. And then from Razorfen Crawl, you're pretty much going to Scarlet Monastery, and you're going to stay there till around level 43. You could probably get away with leaving at about 41, 42, but 43 is when I left just to make Zul'Farrak safe. So in Scarlet Monastery, you're going to want to be doing basically graveyard runs for a good few levels until you can handle a full library run. Now, it's important that you wait until you can do a full library run so you can get the key, so you can then get an armory. Because armory is where you're going to stay, of course, probably till about level 37, 38, until you can then get into cathedral runs, but you probably won't be clearing the actual cathedral itself until you're around level 40. So you'll just be clearing all the outskirts, all the, you know, all the patrolling mobs and all of that, and then once you get high enough, you'll then go into the cathedral and start clearing all of that and even the end bosses if you want to. And after Scarlet Monastery, as I said, I went to ZF and it was very, very quick. The whole aim of the run is just to get to the graves. You've got to be careful in here because there's lots of mobs that can heal and they blood drain and stuff like that. So you need to be on your game with interrupts and stuns just to stop any incoming heals. And ideally, you want to avoid as many of these as you can because the ultimate goal is get into the graves to be able to open them and kill all of these mobs with ease and then go out and reset. ZF runs was very, very quick. Once I got it down where I knew what I had to kill, what I didn't have to kill, how I could skip things, and I was just getting to the graves as quickly as physically possible without, by the way, without doing any reset points or anything like that. I know where they are and you absolutely can do that, but I didn't want to waste time running around resetting things when I could kill my way there because ultimately I'm in there for XP anyway. So it makes sense just to kill your way to the graves, at least even if you're only killing 6, 7 packs of mobs, whatever. But it's still XP that you wouldn't get. And when you get to the graves, if you're actually doing it too fast, you're then going to get instants locked out. So yeah, it's not ideal just to rush straight to the graves, reset all the mobs, and then start pulling because you're probably going to end up doing it too fast. And really, you just want to stay in ZF till around 48, 49, and then go to BRD, which is the point I'm at now. I plan on pushing this pretty hard and probably doing a lot of it on stream as well. So be sure to follow me on Scottejaye87 over on Twitch. I am going to actually start streaming again properly. I've been really lazy. I've not streamed for probably nearly 3 weeks. I'm going to make a return probably tomorrow, and it will be actually leveling this warrior. So come and say hello. But BRD, it gets a little bit trickier, especially if you are going in as low as sort of 48. Ideally, being 50 to go in here would be absolutely amazing, but I didn't want to wait that long. As long as you're just doing small packs of 2 to 3 mobs, making sure you're watching out for the dogs that patrol and not getting overwhelmed, it's actually very comfortable, and you can easily get 120, 130, upwards to maybe 160k an hour, depending on what class you are, which is very quick at this level. I mean, I average around 150k most of the time, which I could probably go a little bit quicker, but I've had some deaths, I'm not going to lie. In Blackrock depths, I've had some deaths, so I sort of play it a little bit safe now. But once I get to about 53, something like that, there'll be no safety. It'll just be pull, kill, get them all down, get out, and reset. But that's where I'm at the moment. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe. And as I say, this is just something that's a bit of fun. It's something I just wanted to share with you because you see warriors and DKs and all of these solo in dungeons at higher levels, you know, like the Botanica farm that people was doing and stuff like that to get a couple of quick levels into Northrend. But I've not really seen many people talk about like the journey as a whole. You know, actually leveling and having fun, but just solo in dungeons the entire way. Because honestly, because you're having to concentrate a little bit more and take it a little bit more seriously, for me, it does seem more fun, even though you're on your own. Maybe I just like being on my own. Yeah. So anyway, be sure to like and subscribe and roll the outro. There's lots of ways you can support the channel to keep me here putting out World of Warcraft content and covering all future MMOs. Consider joining the channel as a member. You get access to emotes. Everyone will know you're a member when you comment on future videos because you get a nice icon next to your name. And you get access to members-only videos, which I'll be putting a lot of on the channel throughout the year. Additionally, there's a Patreon link in the description as well. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you on the next one.